All right, got a little bit of lunch break, so I wanted to go over what happened yesterday. Obviously, if you don't like Will Campbell, unfortunately, they got him for you, but I'm going to celebrate it, not because I've been pointing out Will Campbell for 8 months, but it's more of the strategy, because honestly, I don't know how, I'll say it again, since 2005, 20 years, on average, 5 tackles taken in the first, with 3 of them taken in the top 15. It happened. Campbell, Membo, Banks, top 10 actually for them, but then Connerly and Simmons taken in the back half, plus he had 3 guards taken, right? And again, I'll point this out, 12 tackles are going to be needed to be upgraded this year going into the draft, and 11 guards. So we're there. And then the other thing to point out is that it's not done yet. Almost the same thing happens in the second round. You're going to look at probably 5 tackles taken in the second round, with 3 of them taken in the top half of the second. Now, maybe that doesn't happen this year, but there's still demand, and there's precedent, and there's some guys that could be in there. You're probably going to see Ursary, Jonah, regardless if it's a guard or tackle. Jonah's probably going to be off the board at some point in the second round. You might even see Grant or Belton or even Cam Williams go. And then there's possibility that Milam or Embo or Ratledge go from interior offensive line. So I'm not like, oh, we have to go after. I'm not going to sit here, because the point of this video in general is just to talk about what we should do at 38, or the possibilities of what could be there. I'm not saying they have to go after an offensive lineman, but there's a strong possibility that unless there's a big run on edge and corners, which I think those and D tackles, you're going to probably miss out on another starting offensive lineman. I mean, there's probably some that'll battle for it, but I'm saying like guys that you draft and you're like, that's basically almost a guaranteed upgrade over what we have. That'd have to happen at 38. Now, the thing is that I think the edge, you might, even though I think you might want to go after Ezeiruaku, Scourton. Actually, look at that. Let's take a look. Jackson, JTT. I think those guys are second rounders for the Patriots. Femi, Stewart, Kennard, most of these other guys, even down to Burch, Gelati, Sawyer, Jones, all these guys I would take on day 2. So that's a good chunk right there. So I'm not sure if they definitely go after edge, because maybe they're okay with what they have right now. It is going to be hard to pass up one of these 3 guys, because I think they're, in most cases, first rounders, JTT being really strong second rounder. So at 38, you might have 4 or 5 edge guys that are prospects there. Now for D tackles, another one, because I don't know if they're 100% that Milton Williams is a third down guy, and then Barmore is still up in the air. So I'm not big on Lot, that big, but day 2 definitely. Darius Alexander, I know they're big on. I like him a lot. He's really great against the run, but he has enough juice for the interior for some pass rush. So he could be good Milton Williams insurance / Barmore backup too. Just in case Milton Williams is not a 3-down D tackle. So, Collins would be another one too. There's a decent group there. Like Ty Robinson and Farmer would be another 2 guys to put in there for for the 3rd round. Oh, they have Deon Walker at 188. Now, I don't think that's right, but if you tell me that I can get Deon Walker in the 4th round, like, even if that guy plays only like a dozen snaps a game, you just got to pick one of the offensive linemen that he's not going to, he's going to have an edge on, and he's going to be a disruptor. Because, let's go to baseball. If he's a pitcher and he knows that, okay, this batter sucks at sliders, I'm going to throw it, and the guy's going to, between fastball and slider, and all of a sudden you throw Deon Walker up there, he might get the strikeout on this guy, maybe 3 or 4 times a game, but that could be enough, because if you're just disrupting, you help either you or you help someone get a sack. That's good enough for me in the 4th round or on day 3 for Deon Walker. Sign me up. But anyway, so Darius would probably be the 38 guy. So I'm gonna write this down real quick. So we got 3 or 4 edge guys. 1 D tackle, but several of them in the 3rd. Edge could go all within the second. Day 2 is strong all throughout day 2 for the most part, unless there's a massive run. But if there is a massive run on edge, you'll probably still get somebody that you can draft either in the 3rd or 4th round, and that should probably push down some other guy from a wide receiver or another running back or a guard or a tackle or a tight end or a safety, or somebody's going to get pushed down. So if there is a run on edge, or if there's a deep run on corners, that is still really strong. I mean, we still have Amos on the board. You still have Johnson still on the board. You still have Benjamin Morrison, Ravel, all 4 of those guys. And then Thomas. You have 4 or 5 corners that probably were fringe or solid first rounders if they weren't injured. So if there's a run on corners, that could push down some wide receivers for you in the 3rd. If we talk wide receivers, I know Burden's on the board. I doubt he makes it to you. There's too many teams that need him. And sorry, let me clean this up. Because I know the Texans are there, right? They got him here. But the Browns could do that. Browns could probably use one of these 2 corners too. They can use a wide. Yeah, so I doubt Burden makes it to you. But does that put the pressure on possibly going after Higgins? Because what happens if that's the start of the run on wide receivers? So if there's a run on Higgins, Noel, Bech, the rest of the guys I'd probably push off to the 3rd or early 4th. Interior offensive line. Let's take a look. I'm all over the place, but I gotta do it. Gotta be quick on this one. Wilson in the 3rd for center. That's not bad. Ratledge I wouldn't do unless he's in the 3rd. Okay. Oh, you know why? Because they're tackles here. Ursery probably go in top 10 here on the 1st round. For between 33 and 40. Ozzy, yeah, I'm not going to do Ozzy there. But Mbao, this grouping right here, 1, 2, 3. Jonah, I'd consider actually at 38 because he can play tackle, right? Solid right tackle, has played left, and is a really good guard. So right guard, but he was a left guard in high school. So not that I'm saying that'll be fine, but he's going to require some coaching. But not only could he play guard for you until immediately for the most, I will contend for it immediately, but he could be your long-term right tackle. And then Milam seems to would probably be a great plug-in if you can really get him in the 3rd. Oy. Honestly, look at this. Watch this. If you can do... All right, let's do the play. I'm going to do it right now. You give me one of these... Let's go edge. Edge first. You give me one of these 3 guys at 38. Then we go wide receiver... Any of these guys first one of the 3rd. Then nope, even better. I'm actually going to go off my so edge, guard / tackle. So Scourton, Jonah. I would take Donovan too, but I think Donovan's going to go, by the way. Let's go Scourton, Jonah, possibly in the 3rd. I keep going interior. He's at a tackle. 1st, 3rd. And then take a look at possibly this grouping here. Somebody here for that last 3rd round pick. I don't know if they'll make it, but also I'm telling you, probably teams are not looking at this grouping being like, oh, yeah. The only thing is that each one of these guys kind of has a style to them. They're better at certain routes, body style, play speed, whatever. So maybe they all get overdrafted, and then all of a sudden you're sitting there and you've got abundance of good defensive tackles, good edge guys in the 3rd, and you're going to load up on bare valuation there, and then you look at your wide receiver group, and you're like, well, this kind of sucks. But you know what? Honestly, I'll make this note. I don't mind any of these guys. Proper valuation probably for most of these guys would be 3rd rounders. But then how about this? You get down here, and then you're talking guys that are down in the 4th, 5th, 6th round. Like, I don't have a massive difference between some of these guys in, like, the 150 range here. So your better valuations for wide receiver are definitely going to happen and late day 3 in UDFA. I'm not saying that's what we need to do because obviously they're not as good as, like, the day 2 guys. But if you completely whiff and you're just trying to bring in guys to compete with what you got because you need to put pressure on these guys to develop, you can bring them in. And I can tell you that, like, I mean, LeJohntay Wester's going to probably give Baker a run. Same thing with his partner in crime from UCF. Like, Kobe Hudson versus Baker, they're going to have a little bit of a battle there for a spot. Efton Chisholm's going to come in and push DeMario. Yeah, Keandre Lambert-Smith, I did a whole thing. I think he's probably one of your best day 3 prospects for the Patriots because that guy is a true vertical Z, and his movement scores and the way he plays matches up with Lockett and Brandon Cooks. They are so similar in terms of how they can play in their production and just all of it. Speed. Like, and even the thing is some of the downside for those guys is the same. I'm telling you, like, KLS might be a Patriot by the end of the day tomorrow. And if you can get Bond, really? I'm not a big Tez Johnson because he's basically the size of my left thigh, but it's not a bad. Ty Felton, those guys, like, as your 5th round pick, that's a better value than some of these guys in the 2nd. That's for sure. And I like Jaylin Noel, and I like Harris and Higgins and Bech. Really like Bech. Bech is the guy that you put him down in the middle of the field. Like, that guy goes into the swamp muck of the defense. You throw it in there. You just throw that ball in there blindly. That dude's coming out with it. That's how good he is at it. But I don't know if he's a little nichey. He's not going to be. He's like. Probably talent-wise, yeah, he's maybe a top 3 receiver when he comes onto your team, but I don't know if his usage rate is going to be a top 3 guy on your team. Guy can block, though. It's going to be, I mean, I'm not going to, like, I wouldn't flip out if he's 38, but I'd be like, yo, that probably should have been a 3rd. But if you really, really like him and that's the guy you like, go for it. Or Restrepo in the 4th. There's potential here, guys. And that's not considered, like, tight ends. So if you go, like, say, if you need to get targets and you want to get, like, Noel at 30, say you, like, I'm going to use the word overdraft, but if say you draft Noel at 38, you need a big receiver, you got some guys down here and they say they go, you still have, like, Landon Jackson or some decent move tight ends down here that you can get early in the 4th. I'm still big on Landon Jackson. I still don't know how you, like, yeah, like, this is absurd. PFF, get your head out. Because the guy nearly had 1,000 yards last year, and he actually runs some legitimate wide receiver routes. He's gained some mass to be more of that tight end move, but, like, if you wanted him just to be a big target for you on the perimeter or in the slot, he can do it. It's just, you know, I'm sure he can slim down if you needed him to. I mean, he did run like a 4.59 at like 230 something pounds. And these other guys are solid too. I'm not downplaying these tight ends, but, like, probably a little bit better than Thomas Fidone, even though I think he's overlooked. Jackson Hawes, by the way, he's basically another offensive lineman. That guy's legit. Nesbitt's my UDFA guy, which I think a lot of people are big on, but his metrics are better than his production, if that makes any sense. Same thing with Brant Queefy. Lachey, injury, wouldn't mind him as UDFA at this point. Sorry for that little side rant. So, I think the take home here, plenty of options. I wouldn't mind if it is Scourton or if it's Darius Alexander for defense. Tight end or wide receivers, it might be smart to start the run on it. And the thing is you might even be pressed if they start the run here. All these teams up here could start the run. Look, notice wide receiver, wide receiver, wide receiver, wide receiver. Burns going to be gone. You might see Higgins gone already. Noel might be gone already. And if that happens, you're going to freak out. You need to there's somebody left there that you can think was okay at 38. Or you're just going to go hands off until it's day 3. Or maybe pick up like Bond or something like that in the late 3rd. And in that case, you're probably still staring at either Ezeiruaku, Scourton, or Darius. That's just a no-brainer. Or there's a strong move on corner here. And then you're sitting there and maybe there is, I doubt it'd be Luther Burn, but maybe you do have a pick of Higgins or, Noel there at 38. There's potential, guys. I guess one point is that by the end of today, there should be probably 3 more starters on this team, depending if they trade or something like that. But as of right now, if they stick and pick, there should be 3 more starters. I don't know what it'll be because honestly, they could go all defense or they can go all offense. I mean, if they go with TreVeyon Henderson, probably day 2 running backs might be a little bit overvalued to a certain extent. They're good, and one can argue they can be first rounders some years, but I think the strong valuation on day 3 might be the better pick. Same thing with D tackles, same thing with linebackers, same thing with safeties. All those probably the valuations, corners get stronger on day 3. Tight end could be the one that's kind of the tight end and center are probably the ones where you're like, we might need to. If we need it, we want to do it, and we think that we have to replace, that might be the ones you have to pull the trigger on. Everything else, you can probably, there's either enough for them or you can push it off for day 3. So, anyway, if I had to pick it, Scourton, followed by Noel in the 3rd, second, 3rd, Milam. Yeah. Or some combination of those positions. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys like this content, please like and subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching.